So good afternoon, Peter Racy here, Anzac Day Precinct YouTube channel, and this is the last in the series as we build the argument for the petition that closes on the 20th of August 2021 to name Pensacola Convoy Place and the Battle of the Coral Sea Memorial Bridge. And what we're looking at right at this present stage is the Australian-American War Memorial at Newstead Park. But we're going to cut over to immediately at the last Battle of the Coral Sea celebration in 2021. So here is a photo of the dignitaries on the day of the 79th anniversary commemoration. And what is also interesting that I've discovered, whereas in a previous YouTube I said that this particular memorial was built as a result of a fundraising for the memorial in Canberra, in actual fact this was the very first, and it was eventually opened on the 10th anniversary in 1952, 3rd of May as it happens, by the Governor, Sir John Laverick, and preceded, in actual fact, any others being built in Australia. So that's a very interesting fact. The local federal Member of Parliament, the Honourable Trevor Evans, deliver a speech on behalf of the Prime Minister of Australia, and it was a very heartfelt speech. Now, the annual event, and I need to be doing some further research to determine if the event in Queensland is actually the very first that was being held in Australia to commemorate the Battle of the Coral Sea, has had numerous and several very famous visitors. However, my research has shown that on the 28th of April 1954, the most famous, Admiral Bill Housley, visited the Newstead Memorial and attended the service. And for those who don't know who he is, it's worth doing a little bit of research. Here is a photo of Mike Harris, the President of the Australian American Association Queensland Division, delivering his speech to the assembled dignitaries. And it's appropriate at this point to mention that the eagle that was sitting atop of the memorial was sculpted by Tom Farnell of P.J. Lothar and Son, that the memorial, as I think I've mentioned previously, was the very first American war memorial in Australia, predating a similar larger memorial dedicated in Canberra by Queen Elizabeth II in February 1954. If you look at the photo of the representative from the American consul who spoke to the assembled masses on the day, I just thought I'd revisit a couple of the points in relation to the National World War II Veterans River Memorial Walk. In the Bulimba stretch, that leg is likely to be called the Pensacola leg, and in the Hamilton reach of the Brisbane River, that leg of the walk is likely to be called the Flying Boat leg. And for those who've looked at these YouTubes, the logic is fairly obvious as to the naming of the two legs. This YouTube, I'm going to replay the laying of the wreath by the Governor at the 79th anniversary of the Battle of the Coral Sea. And one additional significant fact needs to be mentioned, and it relates to the Pensacola leg of the River Walk, and that is that on the 22nd of December 1947, 30,000 people watched a state funeral procession held in Brisbane for an unknown US soldier. That US soldier was representative of a total of 1,871 US service personnel which had been buried in Australia cemeteries, of which 1,406 were actually buried in Brisbane. Now, they were all repatriated and found their final resting place in US war memorial cemeteries, obviously back in the USA. And so thank you for watching this final YouTube in the series.